Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainian troops in Severodonetsk are retreating, and obviously they're losing the city, they're losing the Azot plant, the chemical plant, and they try to find better defensive positions. Now we have some extra information on why exactly they were retreating. In my previous video regarding this issue, which I posted yesterday, I assumed that these guys are just going to be surrounded and locked in, as I thought they already were locked in over there and trapped after the Russians destroyed the last bridge over the Severodonetsk river, the last one out of three. But we got some more clarifications here. This article comes from NBC News from today, June 24th, 2022. Ukraine withdrawing troops from Kyiv eastern city to avoid encirclement as Russia advances. Ukrainian forces will retreat from a key eastern city after weeks of bombardment and battles with invading Russian forces, a local official said Friday. The regional governor, Serhiy Haidai, previously said troops defending Severodonetsk would fight for every inch, but they had been pinned back to a factory on the edge of the city and battered by Russian artillery. So yeah, they did that. We already covered that. Let's see what's next. Early Friday, he conceded the battle was lost and said Ukrainian troops would have to pull back. And I'm quoting, "Unfortunately, we will have to withdraw our servicemen from Severodonetsk because it makes no sense to be in broken positions," he wrote in a post. And then he said the number of dead is growing and the troops will move away from the city to new, more fortified positions. So they were losing a lot of troops, and they hope to fight another day somewhere towards the west of Ukraine. Severodonetsk has for weeks been the focal point of the war after Russia switched its aim from its unsuccessful advance on Kiev. Again, these guys are going to go with this forever, that the Russians tried to get Kiev. My assessment, based on what they did, they didn't even try to get Kiev. What they tried to do, it was go encircle it and keep the armies of Ukrainians ready for a possible attack that never came of Kiev. Why? So they can go and take care of the Ukrainian armies in the east. And after they were made sure these guys are over there, what they do? They just went back, retreated all the way. So they didn't even try to do that. Maybe they tried, but it was no war as far as I know, an assault on Kiev. There were three armored vehicles that I saw going in and out, three shellings, and that was it. Like, keep them busy. And if they really want to get Kiev, you do it differently than that. You just that was not an assault on Kiev by a standard of a war. I mean, from a movie, an interpretation, yeah, it was an attack, and they were pushed back, and that's it, repelled, and all that. From a reality standpoint, that was not an attack on taking Kiev. Look at the maneuvers. Reread the articles if you don't have to. If you don't remember how exactly it took. Well, nevertheless, I'm just always these guys mention that it was a big victory from Ukraine. Those guys, and they know what they're talking about. These guys, they're not idiots. But nevertheless, let's move on and see what's going on here. So, unsuccessful advance on Kiev to making gains in the east of the country. Ukraine has suffered heavy losses in its desperate attempts to hold out, but its troops will now surrender the besieged city in an effort to avoid encirclement. So they retreat so they don't get trapped. That's good. Azovstal was a good lesson, and it was unnecessary, but I think that not that it was unnecessary. In Azovstal, I think there were two ideas. One, they didn't believe that they will be encircled, and if they will be encircled, they will be temporarily encircled, and Ukrainian army would push the Russians back. This could be one scenario, which could tell me or tell you that, as I repeat all the time, if you put the wrong ingredients to bake a cake, the end result is not going to be a cake. Or if you don't follow the recipe, you're not going to get a cake for the cake. Same here. If in your assessment of reality you put ideology and hatred, and you ignore facts that are in the field, in reality, then your preparedness for whatever is about to come would be faulty, would be bad. You will not, because you didn't prepare for the reality, you prepared for the reality with your ideologies inserted in the whole thing, which means you skewed the reality, you're going to have bad results, you will not be prepared. The same here. I think in Azovstal, they put the wrong ingredients. Oh, we're going to beat the Russians. Maybe you thought that, and it's good. That's good. But at one point, you have to accept that's defeat. You can't just, okay, we're going to... That's one thing. I think it was a calculation. The second one, they were defending what exactly in Azovstal steel plant? What exactly they were defending? Where they were surrounded, and the Russians were moving towards west with a front, and they were left encircled. What were they hoping that those guys were going to come and pick them up in the middle of the night with some black invisible helicopters? Possibly. So they learned the lesson and say, you know what, instead of dying here like or being captured, let's move out. Good idea. Good. They learned. The Institute for Study of War, an American think tank, said that although Ukrainian troops continue to suffer high casualties in the region, they have also fundamentally accomplished their objective in the battle by slowing down and degrading Russian forces, according to its daily briefing Thursday. This is like you have a rapist, unfortunately getting a victim, and after the rapist finishes his intentions, materializes his intentions and finishes everything what he wanted to do, then at the end people say, yeah, that's great, she scratched him a few times. The victim scratched him a few times, and it was kind of painful for the rapist. Now, this is how I see this. Yeah, the Russians, some destruction and, loss of life. Now, the troops are slowed down, but nevertheless, you got raped. All right, let's fundamentally accomplish their objective. No, the objective was to stop the Russians and push them back to their border. That was the objective, not to stop them and slow them down, because that tells me that your mentality was the defeated one. Oh, I'm going to just slow them down. That means I can't win. Translation. Until now, Severodonetsk has been just one of two cities still under Ukrainian command in the Luhansk province, which together with their neighboring Donetsk makes up the Donbas. In his message Friday, Haidai said that 90% of the city buildings had been destroyed. He added that Russian forces had also taken the nearby village of Mykolaiivka. Now twin city Lishansk, around which Kremlin troops have made notable gains, that means much more than these guys say, in recent days, is all that stands between Russia and full control of one half of Ukraine's industrial heartland. Lushansk lies on the other side of Severodonetsk River and occupies higher ground, but will now face the brunt of Russian assault. Yep, the next thing is Lyshansk, and they say made some advance. I think they are very well on their way of getting, and with time will show it. I think they will have no problem going over there. 2 days, weeks, that will taken care of. And good for these guys that they retreated so they don't get surrounded. This is it with Severodonetsk. The civilians are going to come out and be filtrated by Russians, verified, checked who what's what, and go from there. That's how war is run, unfortunately. Thank you for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.